In this video, I'm gonna talk about Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord. Welcome back to the fictional world of almost Europe. The map is more intricate, the graphics are more detailed, the character models are still laughable, but nobody's gonna care because you're gonna be staring at the back of your own head most of the time, and the great majority of your enemies have a helmet on. Somehow, there is a story and it goes as follows. You are on the run after your family got attacked by bandits, and yourself and your sibling mount a rescue operation to go and save the rest of your family. Along the way, you realize that if you're gonna do that, you might as well become the new king of everything, 'cause why the hell not? The story is really an extended tutorial to teach you the different aspects of the game, and most importantly, to let you know that the end goal is to conquer the world. Yes, you can trade. Yes, you can pretend to be a merchant or a bandit or whatever. But the intended finale is for you to either found your own kingdom or join somebody else's and paint the map in your favor. All the mechanics in the game are a potential tool to put to use towards that objective. Some of these tools are patently useless. Some of these tools have infinite money cheat codes blushing with envy. That's nothing new. The previous installment had the usual sandbox jank of a few things being so broken that you could milk them for everything they had, and use this to make your own job easier. Two changes. One, which parts of the game to break to do the same thing here, and two, how hard you can break these parts. With the sequel being a lot more breakable. The skills menu has the same thing going on, in which a few skills are better left alone, and others will propel you to the stars before anybody knows what hit them. If you play your cards right, money is no object, so that's one comfort to take solace into. You do have mods that you can install in some attempt to make up for whatever the game is lacking. There is a mod specifically for the regular multiplayer events hosted by the developers. There are even total conversions that will take the entire game into a different setting. Just know that activating any mod whatsoever disables achievements on the spot. Doesn't matter if it's as innocuous as adding a Santa hat with 0 armor value. You got mods on, you get no achievements. Cut and dry. Don't pass go, don't collect $200. For what it's worth, the Diplomacy mod is one of the more popular ones out there, and it's known to make the ebb and flow of War and Peace more bearable overall. In practice, most of the gameplay gets divided into maneuvering around the map to find someone to fight, and being on the battlefield to order your troops around, and maybe do some slicing and dicing of your own if you feel like it. Players of the predecessor will be delighted to know that in this sequel, if you get knocked out, the battle keeps going and your soldiers carry the unconscious sack of potatoes that you are back to safety after the battle is over. You will also be happy to know that if you knock out an enemy lord, you automatically capture him. Straight up, he's always at your mercy to take in or let go. Thing is, that goes both ways. If your army gets pummeled, you're the one who gets captured, and continuing is painful. You lose absolutely everything that you're not wearing on your person. If you had any spare armor, swords, supplies, whatever, they're gone. Your family members and companions are scattered to the wind, you're alone, and the moment you get away, the first thing your captor does after you've taken a couple steps is to give chase, just for the pleasure of capturing you again. To say that a defeat on the battlefield is devastating for you is to wildly understate the situation. The enemy doesn't seem to have that much trouble building themselves back up. But that's chiefly because they recruit anything with genitals and a pulse, and if you hammer on a kingdom hard enough, you'll see them grasping at straws pretty quickly. Turns out, there is an economy at work, and you can make the economy work against your foes if you're aggressive enough and you hit their economy centers. It takes a whole bunch of fights and some serious tribute after the war, but soon enough, you'll see your target kingdom trying to make do with pocket change found between couch cushions. If you can keep on top of them, they're as good as gone. The problems arise when you actually introduce other moving parts into the game. you're gonna have to depend on computer-controlled people to get the job done. And these guys are capricious and arbitrary in their movements. They'll walk right across the continent to lay siege to a castle they're obsessed with. They'll pollute your standing army with their level 0 troops when you were looking to send the best of the best into an important attack. They'll squabble with each other. They'll declare war on 3 kingdoms at the same time. The AI is a randomized background noise meant to provide a fluff of activity that goes nowhere, so that you're always the one who ends up making a real difference. It doesn't take a crazy setup to succeed. A bit of wealth and a good army will do the trick just fine. You're playing Monopoly, you're seeking to get the oranges, and the computer is not smart enough to realize their value. They'll pummel each other into a paste, all for Baltic Avenue, and then you can just step in and clean house to get that property for the low cost of a piece of bread. You can make a trade that sounds like it's highway robbery in their favor, but only you know that your investment will repay 100-fold before the year is up. The rich get richer, and the poor get poorer. You just have to know. I'm sorry, I don't mean the word just in that it's a simple or a self-evident thing. I mean it in the way that once the penny drops, or once somebody tells you, then all of a sudden all the challenge is gone. You cracked the code. You were setting yourself up for a long and protracted war full of precisely engineered tactics and glorious battles. But nope, turns out you just gotta know this one weird trick. Doctors hate it! Do this, do that, boom, and you've just won the game. It sounds like an overnight activity when it's told like that, but the reality is that it's still a giant time sink. It's gonna take a bunch of hours before you start seeing the fruits of your labor. And it's gonna take even more than that to actually finish the job. For reference, my campaign took 175 hours to run to completion. Most of the job entails chasing down your enemies, capturing them, watching them escape after a while, doing it all again, and if your enemy happens to be the guys who have a full army on horseback, expect the whole process to be at least 3 times longer whenever you deal with those bastards. Once you have the influence to mount an army, you move on to sieging one castle after another, in which you will send your men into the meat grinder. At least the horse people stay put when you do that, though. There are a few issues at work here. 1. The documentation is not the best, and there are icons and things for which the best explanation will be through a Google search. 2. A lot of important information is hidden away deep inside an article somewhere, whether inside or outside the game. In a lot of cases, you have no idea of what you don't know until you stumble into it and you find out that, oops, you put all your skill points into the wrong category. If you want to make the experience as painless as possible, here's what I recommend. Start a campaign, play some of it in whatever fashion you like, and do some soul searching in there. Once you've figured out how you want to play and how to get there, abandon that campaign and start a new one. The second one will go a lot smoother, and you'll be paying a lot less for your mistakes of ignorance. Option B is to head to the big mountain in the middle of the map, retire your character, and incarnate somebody else in your clan. That avenue has the merit of keeping your overall progress, while allowing you to start more or less fresh. Now that all of the stinky parts have been aired out into the open for everyone to see, what is it that remains? Why would a human being put 175 hours into this? Combat. Pure, wonderful, exhilarating combat. Let me tell you, there is nothing like the dopamine rush of being on the battlefield, screaming, crying, pissing, shitting, moving like an invasive species while in an absolute state of being him. Now you understand why this game is about conquering the world. Everything is there to drive you into a clash of swords and shields, while bolts and arrows blot out the sun so you can fight in the shade. And you're in the middle of it, topping the kill feed like the invincible knight in shining armor that you are. Every battle is a magnificent mess of chaos that leaves the open field littered like the aftermath of a Woodstock concert. If you know what's good for you, you get right in the thick of it, surrounded by the thunderous stampede of cavalry and the war cries of men from both sides, and your objective is to make the insanely satisfying noise of your weapon impacting human flesh ring out again and again. If it feels tinny, if it doesn't feel profound, that means you missed your target. Swing again and keep doing it until you can feel that noise in your bones. That's what's up. It's just too bad that this is surrounded by all of that. You're not going head to head against a worthy opponent. There are none to be found anywhere. You, the human player, are the only sane person in a world of absurd and incomprehensible trains of thought. I'm not asking the AI to be perfect. I'm asking it to behave in a way that feels rational and relatable. This is not what's happening now. You are not besting rivals in a game of wit. You are running circles around robots. Everything will depend on you in the end, because you'll be the only one who can do anything substantial. It's gonna take a long time. You'll start at the bottom of the ladder, and you'll have to wait until you've got the authority to call the shots and finally get things going in a way that makes sense. And even then, you're gonna have to pick up after the boneheaded decisions of your own teammates while you exploit the boneheaded decisions of your enemies. You went in hoping to do glorious conquest and come back home to the flying colors of a triumph. But all you ended up doing was the work of a janitor. In short, this game is vibe coding.